Hi everybody, what we're going to do today is start to look at doing some orthographic sketching, and I'm just very quickly going to go over some of the things that you'll need to be able to do this. First things first is you're going to need a piece of paper, whether that's blank paper or grid paper. Grid paper is really good. If you can get your hands on that, I would absolutely recommend it, but if not, normal piece of paper or a jotter is perfectly fine. You're going to need yourself a pencil and a ruler. I've got a couple of pens here to show you the difference between light lines, which I'm going to do in this lovely purple, and the darker lines, which I'm going to do in this black, and hopefully you should see the difference between the two of those. The other thing that you're going to need to do is get yourself something really simple to sketch. I've started off here. I've gone and got one of my new son's squidgy toys. The idea here is that to be able to produce an orthographic sketch from this, it's really good that we're able to see it from a lot of different views. So if you can get something that's quite simple to draw, simple to sketch, the easier it is, the better it's going to be for you to start off with, and then we're going to try and get a little bit more complicated as things go along. So piece of paper, pencil, ruler if you need it, if not don't worry, and something for you to actually try and sketch. Okay? So hopefully you've had a look at one of the videos that I showed you previously on the teams, and it was a nice wee guide to what is an orthographic drawing and how we can actually go about doing it. But I thought I would try and do or show you the step-by-step that I like to show my classes, seeing how we've not really had a chance to meet and go through this as a class. I'll give you something a little bit to do over the summer to start practicing your skills, and to do that, I think it's quite easy in terms of the layout and how I want to show you how to set it up. But as you can see here, I've gone ahead and I've actually drawn a sketch of the orthographic that I'm going to produce from this wonderful squidgy toy. So as you can see here, we've got the front view. Now remember, an orthographic sketch is a 2D sketch of a 3D object, so it's very difficult for us to actually see stuff in 2D when it's 3D, obviously, but orthographic is this sort of representation that we can try and rotate the view of each of these blocks so that we can see each side and be able to sketch each side. So we've got a front view, a top view and a side view. These have special names, but we'll worry about that later on. And we're going to step by step show you how to actually go about drawing an orthographic view of this lovely squidgy toy. So the first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm just going to have my page landscape, a nice comfortable position to sketch with. Again, you can use a ruler if you want to use a ruler, but if not, don't worry. Grid paper is really good. It's going to help me make sure that all my lines are nice and straight, and that I keep any lines that I'm going to project parallel. That's going to be very important first of all. So we're going to start by trying to draw the front view of this shape here. So I want to try and recreate this shape here. Now whenever I start an orthographic sketch, the first thing I'm going to do is give myself a baseline, which is a line along the bottom. So all I'm going to do is draw myself a nice long line right the way across this way, and then I'm going to draw one that goes vertically. And if you think about it, it's actually starting to resemble what looks like a graph. This is the starting point for any orthographic sketching that you're going to do. So anytime you're practicing this, these are the first two lines that I want you to start by drawing, because this point here is the beginning. This is essentially going to be the corner of this little block here. Now I'm not going to measure this, I'm trying to sketch it, so I'm not going to draw around it. I just want to try and recreate the shape without measuring it, and we're looking for the right scale and the right kind of proportion. So as you can see here, the roof here is about the same size as the base, and the thickness, you know, we're trying to keep an eye on the proportion of this to make sure it looks right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and draw the front view here. So I'm just going to draw myself a little line here. Imagine the top of the block around about here. So if you can imagine that shape is going to fit in here. The other features that I'm looking for now are the peak. Now the peak's going to be roughly in the middle, so I'm just going to make a wee mark there. The angle comes down, we said roughly about half distance, maybe a little bit less. I'm going to mark about there, and it's the same distance there, and I'm just going to draw that in like that. So you can see the shape there is the same shape as my front view. So that front view there, looking straight down at it, is what I've created here. The next thing I'm going to do is just going to darken the shape. I'm just going to go around this again. Again, I'm just using a different colour here so that you can see the difference between the two. So I've got that view completed. For the sake of this video again, I'm just going to ignore that that's got a hole through the middle of it. So we've just got our basic shape. So the next thing we're going to do once we've completed our front view is generate the top view and the side view. Now we do that just by using projection lines from our front view. We've got the size here of the width. So the size here doesn't change depending on how we look at it. So we're looking from the top, it's still the same thickness as it was from this view, and the same thickness here is the same as in the top view here. So we want to use the projection lines that we've generated here. So I'm just going to take this line up a little bit further, and this changes direction here, this edge we're going to see in the top because that's this ridge here. So it's this ridge originally, but as you can see we've got this line along the top. So I'm just going to project this line up as well through the middle. I'm going to come away a little bit from the front view and draw a parallel line, and then I'm going to roughly put in the thickness. So if you imagine that my thickness there is my thickness here, I'm just going to draw that line across like that. I'm going to take my dark edge and I'm just going to fill in the detail here. Like so. And that's our top down view completed. So we have our front view now, which we see there. We have our top down view, which you can see there. Now we're going to do exactly the same way, and we're going to generate the side view here. Again, projecting our lines. So I'm going to take the top of this line here right the way across. This edge, this change direction here, that goes right the way across. And then again, like I did up here, I'm going to come away a little distance, come still on the edge, roughly gauge the thickness that I've got here across here. Project like that, and then going to darken the edges in. So you can see now that we've been able to generate 3 2D views from our 3D object. So we've got our front view here, we've got a top down view, we've spun it in that direction, and then again we've spun it in this direction to give us all 3 views. Front view, top view, side view. Done. So once you've done something quite simple, I'll be looking for you to try and ramp up your skills and try to do something a little more complicated. So you can see I've raided the cupboard here and found myself a tin of Heinz hoops. So again, like with the last one, we've got a front view that you can see down here. So that's looking straight at the can. You can see that there. We've got the top down view, which is us looking again. So it's this rotational idea that we've rotated round, we've generated that view, and then from there we've rotated round here to generate this view like that. Okay. To draw circles in orthographic is quite difficult. As you can see here, I've broke up the original square into this sort of what I call a Union Jack, and it allows me to build up the circle shape a lot easier. So to do that, once you've got an original square, so you've projected this from your plan, if you want to draw a circle within this, what you want to do is join the corners up, and then through the middle this way, and through the middle this way. And this allows us to plan out and plot our circle much easier, because the circle is going to touch at the top here, it's going to touch at the bottom here, and touch at the 2 sides. Now if you imagine that the diagonal lines we've split into thirds, what happens is this circle will actually go through the outer third on this part of there, so that when it comes to sketching, your line should go through each point, and it'll allow you to generate. It won't give you a perfect circle, but it'll give you a good guide as to how to generate a circle. Okay, so as you can see here, there's another example of something a little bit more complicated. Don't start off with something like this, go with something simple and work up to this, but the idea is that you can see the proportions is the same because the distance here on the can is about the same distance here. This should look like a part of a square because the circle is going to sit inside there, and you can see the ring pull goes to about halfway through the can. You know, my proportions are, I've not measured it, I'm not taking the sizes off of here, it's all just done by eye.